Oh, hello, folks. This is Steve A. I was just about to turn the computer off, go to bed. I had to take one last look at slashdot.org. Now, nothing in this episode is a promotion, nor is it a recommendation. So it's the second one down here, this one right here. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. Now, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, I published that one about my connections to the Red Sea between Yemen and Ethiopia. Long time ago in Israel, I had a roommate from Ethiopia. When I worked in Mexico, there was another guy there. He was from Ethiopia. The Ethiopians, after Selassie, they were a communist government. And that guy got his university education in agriculture in Moscow. But then he went to Summit in Mexico, and they were going to train him for going back to Ethiopia, but they said he had to redo all of his agricultural education in a respectable university. That crap that he had learned in Moscow was, oh, wait a minute. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia glitch lets customers withdraw millions. You know that Ethiopia and the two countries, I worked with a guy from, hang on. It's late. Yeah, I worked with a guy who was actually from the part of Ethiopia that broke off and became Eritrea. And there's another country trying to also break away. Ethiopia's biggest commercial bank is scrambling to recoup large sums of money withdrawn by customers after a systems glitch. Now, I can remember over in Bleeping Computer and here, within the last year, there was a major U.S. bank. When I say within the last year, last couple of months, that people were reporting that, you do a lot of banking now online with your browser or whatever. And they were reporting they would do something like log into their account at this national level bank and do something like pay a bill from like their checking account. And as soon as that transaction finished, their account would come up as zero. What it was is somebody did a software update that they didn't test well enough. We're going to find out it's something like that with this. Ethiopia's biggest commercial bank is scrambling to recoup large sums of money. This is reported by the BBC. Withdrawn by customers after a systems glitch. See, it's the BBC. I'm looking to see if they're showing Ethiopian money. The customers discovered early on Saturday that they could take out more cash than they had in their accounts at the Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. You know, I like the web because we can probably go to their homepage. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. Hang on. I don't know if this is safe. Hang on. www.combanketh.et. I'm doing this. I haven't tried this. I think their IT system is offline. CBE, Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, is one of the full-fledged interest-free banking services designed to comply with the central tenets of Sharia, or Islamic law of doing business. Oh, you know, under Haile Selassie, I think Ethiopia was Christian. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is the largest commercial bank in Ethiopia. As of June 2021, it had about 1.1 trillion BIRR, I assume that's their currency, in assets and held approximately 67% of deposits and about 53% of all bank loans in the country, according to Wikipedia. I'm going to come back to this in a minute. Look at this one here. How to send money to Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. Create an account. It takes 60 seconds to create a free account. Send money. Enter your payment and receipt details. Track money. Receipt. And it's send money to Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. Sharemoney.com. It's US/English Ethiopia delivery method. Oh, so there's some place online that tells you how to send money all over the world? No, this has to do with sending it to Ethiopia. All right, now wait a minute. This is not too strange. There are probably a lot of expatriate Ethiopians that are sending money to their families back home. How much money every month do you think that formerly Mexicans who are in the United States, maybe U.S. citizens, sent to families back in Mexico? Every month. How much do Mexican expats send home every month? I thought the search engines had AI. How much do Mexican expats, and they changed it to spend. I said sent, send. Money sent home by Mexicans working abroad rose by AP News. I'm just trying to show you. 2022. The average amount of each transfer remained steady at $393, just a slight increase from 2022, but the total number of transfers rose 6.6% to over 161,000, according to the Bank of Mexico. Now, wait a minute, look at this one. Mexico receives more money from remittances than any other country except India. Do we have a lot of Indians in this country? Think of the CEO of Microsoft, IBM. Can you think of any other big countries? Indian migrants send home $125 billion each year. So this page makes sense, okay? It's dedicated to just that. Are the people in Ethiopia poor? Yeah. Let's go back to the BBC article. More than $40 million was withdrawn or transferred to other banks, local media reported. It took several hours for the institution, the bank, to realize what was happening, to freeze transactions. Much of the money was withdrawn from state-owned CBE by students. Bank President A.B. Sano told journalists on Monday. News of the glitch spread across universities largely by messaging apps. Oh, I got an iPhone. I got an Android phone. See how we're infecting everybody? And phone calls. Long lines formed at campus ATMs with a student in Western Ethiopia telling BBC Amharic, you understand that the language they speak in Ethiopia is not Ethiopian, it's Amharic. Would you recognize the alphabet? One of the earliest Bible translations was into Amharic. People were withdrawing money until police officers arrived on campus to stop them. Cut it out. The student who attends Jimma University Institute of Technology said he did not believe it was true when his friends told him that around something local time it was possible to draw large amounts from the ATMs or to another. Ethiopia's central bank, which serves as the financial sector's governing body, released a statement on Sunday saying a glitch software update had occurred during maintenance and inspection activities. See? See? Maintenance? What's maintenance? Updating your software. Bug fixes. Oh, we didn't. Remember, he stated that the CBE was not hit by a cyber attack. And customers should not be worried that their personal accounts, because their personal accounts were in the blah, blah, blah. At least three universities have released statements advising students to return any money not belonging to them that they may have taken from the CBE. Anyone returning money will not be charged with a criminal offense. But it's not clear how successful the bank's attempts to recoup their money has been so far. See, it wouldn't do any good. Let me tell you why. The only way it can really be of any value is if somebody was when I was traveling in 1966, there were places Like if you happen to leave a country at midnight and you still had something like Egyptian currency and you're on the boat to Lebanon, and when you get to Lebanon, you say, I got all this Egyptian money. Can I buy Lebanese pounds? And they're not going to give it to you at the bank rate. You're going to have to take a 50% loss. Oh, look at my head's covering it. Look at this. Chat with GPT-4 for free on Chrome. You see it? When I did that, it covered it up. Did you see it? Hang on. So anyway, the reason why I'm doing this, hang on. At this point, this has only been up for a while. There's just a few comments. It's not like ATMs leak money to anonymous recipients. I assume all transactions were recorded. Maybe not. Maybe the glitch was bigger than that. And the accounts are just going to go to unauthorized overdrafts. The lenders will still be liable to plus interest and fees. Maybe. You never know. Remember the one I said where look, there's been reports in the news about people going to named banks, big national banks in this country, and depositing like $8,000, and there's no record of it. The one I liked was this comment right here. This is why I'm doing it. This is Ethiopia. Now the person is explaining what's going on in Ethiopia. The country whose central bank tried to pay other countries with gold-plated cast iron bars. Anything is possible in their financial system. And I thought, really? Let's do a Google search. Now you saw that all I did was highlight that and ask Google search. Now I'm at the March. It's the 19th of March, 2024. 13 March 2008. What was happening in 2008 worldwide? Do you remember? Fake fears over Ethiopia's gold. Ethiopia's national bank has been told to inspect all the gold in its vaults to determine its authenticity. It follows the discovery that some of the gold that it had bought for millions of dollars was gold-plated steel. The first hint that something was wrong reportedly, this is from the BBC in 2008. The first hint that something was wrong reportedly came when the Ethiopian Central Bank, the same one we're talking about, exported a consignment of gold bars to South Africa. The South Africans sent them back, complaining they had been sold gilded steel. An investigation revealed that the bank in Ethiopia, the geniuses in Ethiopia, the bank had bought a consignment of fake gold from a supplier who was now under arrest. Other arrests followed, including business associates of the main accused and National Bank officials and chemists from the Geological Survey of Ethiopia. It was an inside job. Chemists from the Geological Survey of Ethiopia, whose job it was to assay the bank's purchases of gold and certify they were real. Oh, wait a minute. There's two ways to explain that. They were on a long lunch break and they simply signed off on it, or they were in on it for sign this certificate and I'll give you $1,000. I'm guessing. Sounds like Ethiopia's got a mafia too. But what's clearly now got the government even more worried is that another different batch of gold in the bank's vaults has also been found to be fake. Oh, so it's not the first time. This is in 2008. And this time it was gold which had been there for several years after being seized from smugglers trying to take it to Djibouti. That's the country next to Ethiopia. Does that mean that they were trying to take it from Ethiopia to Djibouti? Oh, you mean those guys have been in business that long? And the official bank president didn't even figure it out? I'm just smiling. I'm just smiling. Now, I had another thought. What was that? What was I going to tell you about? Oh, hang on. Hang on. I know. Oh, yeah, everybody does that. A glitch. Froze all transactions. Oh, that's right. I know what it is. Hang on. Hang on. Let me try bleeping computer. Here it is. My head was covering that pop-up, right? I'm reading an article. I'm on Windows. I'm using a Chrome browser. I'm using Google search. and Microsoft pops up a thing? Microsoft pops up a thing? How did it get in there? Bleeping computer, March 17th. Microsoft again bothers Chrome users on Windows with Bing pop-up ads in Windows. Well, it wasn't exactly for Bing. It was about their chat thing search, which is Bing. Speak about mafia behind your back. Microsoft is again harassing Google Chrome users on Windows 10 and Windows 11. In other words, it wouldn't happen if you're using Linux. With pop-up desktop advertisements. Pop-up desktop advertisements. That's what it was. Right in the middle of what I was doing. Not related in any way. Prompting Bing and its, GPT-4 Bing chat platform. Exactly. That's exactly what it was about. Now, this is a totally different topic. I start out doing the thing about Slashdot, and you're wondering, I'm crazy, I'm like Biden, and then I find, oh, that's right, that pop-up. Totally inappropriate. That's like somebody throwing a rock through your window. Hey, let us squat in there. We're going to move in. We don't care that you own it. I don't see any difference between what they're, that stuff about the gold-plated iron? Playing around, everybody playing around under there. I don't see that any different than what Microsoft is doing with that kind of pop-up crap. Oh, you've got an operating system as a service. Microsoft, Windows is an operating system as a service. Tech Target. Windows as a service. Windows as a service is the approach Microsoft introduced with Windows 10 to deploy, update, and service the operating system. Instead of releasing a new version of Windows every 3 to 5 years, they're talking about when Windows 10 was just on the horizon. How many years ago was that? More than 5. Instead of releasing a new version of Windows every 3 to 5 years, what followed XP? Was it Vista? And then there was Windows 8, 8.1, and then Windows 10. Instead of releasing a new version of Windows every 3 to 5 years, as the company did in the past iterations of the OS, Microsoft will continually update Windows 10 and 11. The updates are characterized in 2 ways: feature updates and quality updates. Introducing Windows as a service. A brand new way of building, deploying, and servicing Windows. Now, servicing options for Windows client updates. IT professionals can blah, 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 blah. You know that they have Patch Tuesday every month, but they've taken it a step further, haven't they? This stuff that keeps popping up. Like I log into my computer and suddenly Bing browser is filling the whole screen. I don't use Bing. I don't keep an icon for starting Bing either on the taskbar or on my desktop. Windows refuses to let me uninstall it. Except that now the Europeans have a law that says they have to. So only Windows versions known to be in Europe will be able to, can now uninstall Bing. Talk about the mafia. You want to buy some anchovies or do you want to brick through your window? Or do you want pop-ups all day? So this all started with one of my favorite countries, Ethiopia. Now, I'll finish it. I've told this before. It was in 1971 going into 72 when I went to Israel. He was a soldier alone. That means that he immigrated to Israel, but his family didn't come. And he was, in fact, serving in the armed forces, in the Israel Defense Force, and he had a place to go on weekends or when he was allowed off base on the kibbutz where I was, and I shared a room with him. So he wasn't there all the time. And in talking to him, I no longer remember his name. He said that his father was an admiral in the Ethiopian Navy. This was at a time when Haile Selassie was still the emperor. And he said that he and his father had had a heart-to-heart conversation. And his father told him that he didn't think there was any future for Jews in Ethiopia. This is 1971. And that was the basis for his son, the fellow who was my roommate, to have immigrated to Israel with no intention of returning to Ethiopia. When did the Israelis bring the Ethiopian Jews to Israel? Most of the community made aliyah, that's the Hebrew word for going, verb for going up, to go from wherever you are up to Israel. The verb for Jews to go out of Israel, even to travel, is called yeredet, which means to step down, go down. Most of the community made aliyah in two waves of mass immigration assisted by the Israeli government, Operation Moses, 1984, and Operation Solomon, 1991. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know this. The first Ethiopian Jews, who were called Falashia, who settled in Israel in modern times, came in 1934 along with the Yemenite Jews from Italian Eritrea. I knew a Yemenite Jew who walked from Yemen to British Mandate Palestine in the 30s. I think that just refers to this particular movement. Never know what you're going to learn or reinforce or elucidate when you let your mind stray. So anyway, we were talking about gold and steel bars in Ethiopia. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia glitch lets customers withdraw millions. Steve A. before y'all, just having fun. saying see you in 73.